So recently I've been thinking a lot about Christianity and YouTube and social media and how Christians involve themselves in the culture of today's world. Obviously I have a YouTube channel, so I'm not against that necessarily, but I think a lot of the ways in which Christians have been involved in the last few months and the last few years has really irritated me. And I really don't want to be a part of that culture at all. We all know that people can be critical. We all know that people can be kind of mean on social media or online, just on the internet in general, and this can be an issue. But when it comes to Christianity, we're called to a higher standard. And while in this video, I'm not going to be mentioning any names in particular, I've experienced so much of this over my tenure in YouTube, and of course, everybody else has seen this over the years. I've been thinking about this more and more lately because there are so many people in the realm of YouTube that keep on bringing up these different things to attack certain Christian groups or to really shut down what people are doing here online. And while I do think that there is a standard that should be upheld within Christian media, we've talked about this many times, I also think that there are a lot of different voices and a lot of different things that can be said within Christian media, within Christian YouTube and social media overall. Now, I'm going to be speaking from my point of reference, which is mainly about The Chosen, but this goes on to a lot of different things throughout, well, all of Christianity. Let me start with an example that's outside of my realm, and then we'll jump into The Chosen stuff to kind of talk about where I'm coming from. Over the last year or so, a Christian YouTuber by the name of Mike Winger has been really dealing with issues with Joel Osteen. Now, Joel Osteen is obviously one of the biggest celebrity pastors in the world, and Mike Winger was slightly critical about some of the things that he said in his past sermons. Now, Mike is an amazing YouTuber, and he is really solid in the way that he goes about things, and he's very generous and gracious even in this critique of Joel Osteen. But he made a video a while back where he basically just broke down one of Joel Osteen's sermons and talked through exactly how Joel Osteen's process went. Now, this wasn't very favorable in terms of biblical accuracy, and it wasn't very favorable in terms of how much scripture was actually used within this sermon overall. But Mike was very gracious in saying that he doesn't think that Joel Osteen is a bad guy, that maybe he's just confused about certain things where he's let his celebrity kind of take over the forefront of his ministry. Now, when Mike Winger actually posted this video, Joel Osteen and his church took it down almost immediately. They did not like the content of this at all, even though legally Mike Winger was fine and he was using fair use, just like we do on this channel with The Chosen. Now, after Joel Osteen took down Mike Winger's video, he tried several different times to bring this video back so that he could share what he thought was valuable with his community. And as a last-ditch effort, he actually took out every single video clip from Joel Osteen's church, and so that there would be no content that they could claim. And yet they still tried to claim it again. I bring this example up because this is not a legal precedent. The legal precedent is that fair use is allowed, that you're allowed to critique or review or use for educational purposes other people's material, other people's content online. And this is a totally normal thing that happens all over the place. We do it on our channel on a consistent basis. But here in this example, Joel Osteen and his church are acting so far out of left field. It's actually crazy to me. The fact that they would be so upset that someone would be critiquing their content, that they would go to this length to shut it down and to censor it, it's not okay. Now, that being said, this means that I believe that critique should be allowed. I believe that critique should stand on its own and that it should be done well. And I think that's the biggest thing for me here. Now, in my realm of The Chosen and kind of Christian media overall, there are so many people that just attack it for the sake of attacking it. And here are some ground rules that I would say if you're going to critique The Chosen, if you're going to critique Christian media, if you're going to critique other YouTube channels that are Christian, I would suggest that you go through this list first so that you can actually do that accurately. First things first, do your research. If you think that there's something wrong with The Chosen, show me exactly why that is. I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours studying The Chosen, the cast and the crew, the writing and the cinematography. There's a lot of stuff that I know about this production that people just get wrong all the time because they immediately write off the show, or they write off the crew, or they write off Dallas Jenkins, and they don't allow anything else to take place there. They don't walk into the research that needs to be done in order to corroborate the things that they're actually saying behind the scenes. A clear example of this is something that happened just a few weeks ago with a lot of people declaring that Dallas Jenkins put a verse from the Book of Mormon in The Chosen. This is not the case at all. Even though the quote is sort of similar, it's not a direct quote, and I've done my research and talked directly to Dallas Jenkins about this subject. So I know for a fact that this is not the case, right? Sure, Dallas could be lying, but again, it's not a direct quote, right? And yes, I am in a unique place where I can speak to Dallas Jenkins directly or talk to my colleagues about this subject. But if you don't have that access, if you can't corroborate it, and if you can't do the full research, at least look at these different scriptures, at least look at what's going on in actuality. Because there's so many people, there's so many YouTube channels or blog posts or whatever else that took this story and ran with it without doing any research at all. Next up, give it time to play out. So whatever the circumstance is that you're upset about or that you want to critique, give it time to play out. Let's see what other people are saying. Let's see if the writers or the director or whoever else comes forward and makes a statement about it. The next thing that you should focus on is leading with love. Let's say that you've done the research step and you've actually found out something that you find very concerning. Should you just go and attack that person directly and have this crazy YouTube thumbnail that's just bringing them down and showing them with devil horns and all of this craziness? Probably not, right? You should approach them with love. Well, first of all, you should probably approach them directly, right? And see if you can actually have a conversation with them. Then if that can't happen, then perhaps you should either let it go completely or allow love to lead you through the process. There are so many Christian YouTube channels and different people online that I see that just immediately start attacking another group of people. And I get it. It's because you want to get rid of this evil that you perceive to see. But the truth is, what if you're wrong? What if you've taken it too quickly? And instead of leading with love, you cause more pain and more hate and more injustice. Our focus as image bearers of God and brothers and sisters of Christ should be to lead with love, to have grace, to have mercy, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to walk with them in this journey. If you really feel like someone is misguided or you feel like they've done something wrong, then help them through that process. And of course, there's going to be times when even on this channel, we may have to call someone out or we may have to say something, right? We've talked about this many times. If the chosen does something that's blatantly against scripture and the chosen does something that is forwarding something else that's not of the Bible, then we'll be the first ones to talk about it. There's a reason why I said that I probably wouldn't have done the I am the law of Moses line, right? Because I believe that there's probably a little bit of confusion that can happen there. Now, do I understand where it's coming from? And do I agree with Dallas Jenkins that it could be something that could be seen in the Bible? Yes, absolutely. I could see that, but I also see that it could cause some confusion. And so for me, I would have probably avoided it. But does that mean that I hate the show and I think that that line is stupid? No, I just slightly disagree. And I think that that is something that a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Christian people in the world don't understand at all. They just walk their own path, and if anybody skews away from them in any direction just a little bit, then they have to completely cut that person off and yell at them and tell them that they're horrible. And that's not the way that it works, right? We're all human. I could be wrong about the way that I think about the chosen or the Bible or anything in my life. And so I want to have grace and mercy for those that think differently than me, because possibly I could learn something from them, right? And if right now you're thinking of someone in particular on YouTube or outside of YouTube that does this, please do not harass them. Don't send them this video. This is just for us to understand that, man, I wish the Christian culture could just be a little bit different. I wish that we could be in harmony and unity. It's something that me and Vanessa crave so much on this channel. We have a ton of people that are from the Catholic Church or from the Protestant Church or from LDS and everything beyond, right? There's a lot of things that I disagree with, and there are things that I will fight those people on, right? Even the Protestant people, there are some things that they believe that I will fight them on. But there are a lot of things that are just not worth the fight because, well, I would rather cultivate a relationship with them, love on them, and walk with them through this journey, instead of just spending my time screaming at them, making them leave my channel and never coming back. I truly believe that God has called me to reach Jerusalem, the people who think that they're holy, the people that think they have it all together, but maybe they don't quite understand the Bible. Maybe they don't quite understand the gospel as it should be. And my goal is really to bring that unity, to bring in what Christ really wanted us to see. So if this is really what Christian YouTube is going to be, if it's going to be like this choral fest where people just yell at each other all the time, I really don't want to be a part of it. I don't know. We'll make our own path, I guess, here on YouTube and figure out who we can really trust and hang around with. People like Brandon Robbins, people like David Tate, the people who understand, hey, we may come from different backgrounds, we may come from different ways of life, but the truth of the gospel is the truth of the gospel, and we'll walk in that no matter what. Man, there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to go into here, but let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And if you want to support this ministry, you can always join our Patreon down in the link below. And of course, we're going to Israel in 2024, so I would love for you to be a part of that trip. If you guys want to sign up below, just $500 to register. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.